Hello guys, and welcome to a new Wargame commentary today by me, Vulcan. I am once again on my favourite map, Rivers of Blood, and today I'm playing NATO, not Pact. Today's battle will be showcasing actually some arty tactics. This is basically where I go defensive and use arty to my advantage. Now I only use 4 arty units before you say, oh, arty spam. That's not really arty spamming at all. So yeah, bear with me. I'll speed up the deployment and show you what my tactic was. Okay, so you can see I brought in a couple of Blackhawks. Now you're thinking he's never used Blackhawks before, and no, I haven't. And I decided to try them out in this battle. One of them has Delta Force in them, and the other one has Rangers in them. And the reason that I have Rangers and Delta Force is that Delta Force have the rocket launcher for ground units, and Rangers have SAM missiles for anti-air. So basically, they can take care of themselves. Then I've also got those 4 arty units I was talking about. These are the British version of the M110A2, or the M110, which is there's an American version, but I use the British version because I'm British. And basically, they're the upgraded version, which is why they're called the A2. They have incredibly powerful HE power for an artillery unit. Now that's because they're howitzers, and their caliber of 203mm means that the explosion's very big. Then I've also got these VABs which have ATGMs in them. I've also got my Sultan, which is going to move up to Gulf, covered by 2 Chaparrals, and of course my Jaegers in Fuchs. I've got a Lux up here to Recon for these ATGMs, and I've also got a Recon down here which will cover this bridge here with the other Jaegers and Fuchs. Now down here I have a better Recon with a VAB with Chasseur for Massin to cover this bridge down here. Now you must never forget about this bridge, because there are a lot of times when Pact will rush down here, capture Delta, and push a load of tanks across this bridge and come up behind you, and you won't have any defenses to defend, like to basically stop them from taking your main. It isn't too much of a problem if you play without a FOB, because you can just focus on Golf and then move over to Foxtrot and Juliet as soon as they go to Delta, but sometimes it doesn't work out quite as planned. Now I've got a very heavy armoured command vehicle at base just for protection, and obviously the 2 base Chaparrals as well. Now the Super Chinook was basically going to be used for resupply around the map. I also used it so that I could maybe move these howitzers forwards if I needed to, and then I could just resupply them with the Super Chinooks. Now the game's already underway really, and you can see, if I look at from my point of view, I can see that he's brought in a command chopper. Now that's a bad idea, especially when I've got howitzers. He doesn't know that I have howitzers, but you can see that he's landed his helicopters, probably by accident. He's also got a few helicopters here, but he doesn't really notice, and still I start doing incredible amounts of damage to his helicopters, and managed to take one out with a single shot, which is crazy to be honest. And he doesn't move this command chopper as quickly as the other ones. He deems it necessary to get his Mi-24s out before his command vehicle. So anyway, I instantly get the advantage by using howitzers against them. Now over here I've kind of forgot about the Blackhawks because I'm so excited about being able to shoot his helicopters down with howitzers. But I noticed that the Blackhawk with Rangers in got shot down, so I make sure to land my Blackhawk as quickly as possible and get that out there before they get any more points from that. Now I know that he's captured it again, probably with the same command vehicle. So what I do is I get my artillery units and I decide to fire where I last saw it, which was around this area here. And you'll see that just soon after, my RT units start firing there, and when the artillery fire gets more concentrated, I managed to get a nice shot off onto the command vehicle there. Now I'm glad that I lost my Rangers and not my Delta Force. Like, obviously I would have liked to had both there, but the Delta Force are more useful because of their recon ability to spot enemy vehicles and aircraft. You can see how big these explosions are from the howitzers, just because of the size of the caliber of the gun and the power at which they fire. Now the thing is about this strategy, I'm not sure why he used a command vehicle or a command helicopter on such a small map. Now command vehicles are command helicopters are very good for big maps where there is a very important point which you need to capture quite early on, so maybe bring in reinforcements behind the enemy or something like that. You should never really use a command helicopter to capture a point which is basically not being able to reinforce from. Now you can see I bring in a couple of Marder Roland 2s here, and he decides to try and take them out with the Mi-24s, but kind of overlooks the fact that I have other units here other than my Marder Rolands. Now if that Marder Roland 2 was on its own with the other Marder Roland 2 that got destroyed, they probably both would have been hit by those two Mi-24s. However, because I have infantry and VOBs which are vetted, plus my looks, he didn't really stand a chance once my Marder Roland was sat back shooting at them. Now you can see here, you're probably wondering what these VOBs are doing. Well, I don't need them here anymore, so I decide to move these VOBs up to shoot it down. But before they even get there, the Marder Roland 2 takes them out, and I discover that he's got a lot of ATGM units sitting in this area right here. You can see that my RT is still firing on this position here, and the RT fire is getting more concentrated. And there I've spotted the vehicle there, but before it can get away, the howitzer fires or hits underneath it and shoots it down, giving me 300 points. Now it's a lot of supply to be given, or a lot of points to be given to the enemy at this point. You can see that I'm already 500 points up just because of these howitzers and my vetted units on the left here, with the support of the Marder Roland. Now, throughout this battle, you can see that I don't actually have any main battle tanks at all. I have AA, and I have infantry, and obviously my self-propelled artillery. So, I am actually running very risky strategy here, because if he'd managed to get like a Recon and maybe some mortars, I would be completely owned, but he didn't, and infantry in forests make amazing defense, like basically allow you to have amazing defenses if they don't spot where they are. You can see here I've taken care of his helicopters on the left side of the river. I am moving up a Sultan, which I've brought in from my reinforcement points, to go to Foxtrot. Again, no main battle tanks, just a couple of AA units and an extra set of Fuchs with Jaegers. I took the 2 Fuchs and Jaegers from Gulf and basically replaced them here with a single unit. Also, this Gazelle is going off to recon round the edge of the map, because I'm not too sure. Obviously I know he's got some units here. I've taken care of a lot of his helicopters, so I'm not really sure what his next move is. So basically I'm moving around my Gazelle to Delta to see if he's trying to move anything around there, or if he's just going to try and push through Juliet or through India. Now the reason that my strategy works so well against this particular person is because he focused on helicopters very early on, and I focused on AA very early on. I didn't obviously know that he was going to focus on helicopters, but it seemed to turn out in favour of me when we started the game, for the pure fact that I have 4 chaparrals now, 2 mild Roland 2s there in Foxtrot, I've got 1 in Juliet, and obviously my infantry dotted around means that if he flies over a forest, they are likely to get shot down. Also, these looks with their auto cannons are reasonably powerful against helicopters at close range. Now this Cobra here that I've brought in, this was basically an idea that I had to maybe sneak around the back and shoot into Bravo. Knowing that he'd spent so much on helicopters meant that he may not have so much base defense, which means that this Cobra could maybe get a decent shot at Bravo. However, because he manages to bring in some AA units over here, he shoots it down before I get to test out that strategy. And basically, you're probably wondering why I was flying that towards it. Well, the only way I was going to get away from that, because of the range in which the Strelas, I think they were, it would have been better for me to try and suppress them or stun them than it would have been to try and fly away. Now, knowing that there's the units there now, and I reveal the T-62Ms, which are the ATGMs that fired at my BABs, and yeah, I use my Delta Force to basically recon now all these units over here. And what does that do? It gives me an amazing RT target. Now you can see that I've actually turned off the main gun, or the main weapons of the Delta Force. You can see that I've turned off all of them, and this basically means that they won't accidentally shoot anything and reveal their position, giving me the perfect recon unit to take out this concentrated force near India. Now once I start to arty him, it kind of forces him to push forwards, and you can see that's just what he does. And I'm kind of worried at this point, because all I have to defend me at the moment is 4 ATGM units and an AA and a Recon. These ATGM Milans aren't the most reliable units ever, which can cause frustration, especially when they are overrun like they're being done right now. You see that just a couple of shots from a main gun of a tank will take out an ATGM Milan squad. You can see I tried to correct my shot there, that didn't work. My ATGM Milan squad manages to get a couple of BMPs at last. But what do I really want to take out? I want to take out these AA units. The reason being, I'm bringing in 2 Apaches. Now with those 2 AA units struck down, I am instantly at an advantage once these once these Apaches get there. However, my ATGM Milan teams actually managed to do reasonably well against these T-62s, which actually allows me to basically drive these Apaches get there and they have nothing to shoot at. The T-62s are being stunned by Arty, and the ATGM Milan's F2s are basically destroying all of the tanks and BMPs that are left. The Apache manages to shoot the last tank, and they also shoot the rest of the APCs that are left over. and my ATGM Milan team's covered by the looks destroy the Moto Sharky because these guys are vetted. Oh, these two aren't, because I brought them in. I panic board these guys, but these two here have 3 veterancy each. Now moving back over to here, I didn't realise that he didn't move out these 2 AA units, so he manages to shoot down one of my Apaches. Now that was a big mistake by me. I thought the 2 AA units that I destroyed down here were the 2 that are up here, but obviously not, and because of that mistake I lose 1 Apache, which gives him 165 points. Now basically, while that battle's been finishing off, I've changed my arty so that it fires onto this group of people here, and starts to do a reasonable amount of damage with corrected shot once it gets more accurate. Now, seeing that he was being targeted there, he's forced to move out of his position and head towards this brush or this forest here. You can see if he'd stayed there for a little bit longer, he would have been utterly destroyed by that last barrage. But seeing that he's moving out, I actually changed the target of the RT to this tree line here, first of all, and then readjust to this tree line here once I see what's going on. And because he's brought in, or because I've brought in Apaches, he's now reinforcing on the anti-aircraft missiles a lot. And unfortunately for him, I don't use them again for the rest of the game. But my Delta Force sure do make short work of his helicopters once I turn on their main guns again. Now, seeing that they flew over, I decided that it'd be a good idea just to shoot them down. Now, Delta Force at close range are very powerful against helicopters for the pure fact that they have 3 HE power. Also, probably wondering how they shot a rocket at that when they don't have an AA missile, but it landed, so it gave them a chance to shoot it down. See that I'm now readjusting to shoot at the units that I can see with the RT. A couple more units and I will have won the game, because I'm currently on 1,440 points and he's only on 461 points. Now, these AA missiles, they are alright if you know how to use them. You have to kind of spam them like he did, but they're only good really if they're massing helicopters because they're inaccurate. But anyway, you can see that I won the game there pretty easily. He is obviously half my level, so he didn't really know how to react to that kind of strategy just yet. But you can see how effective it can be against players who are inexperienced. If that was an experienced player, I may not have got away with it so easily. He probably would have just rushed down my ATGM teams and just stormed right through my base. But fortunately, I was lucky to have him focus on helicopters and not be able to get through my defensives, which were vetted in terms of my ATGM teams. Also, my reaction with the Apaches once I shot down, or once I destroyed the AA which was supporting their tanks, that was easy pickings for the Apaches if my ATGM teams didn't do the job, which I did. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, or I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something from it. But until next time guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.